Good afternoon, everybody. This is the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Socorro, Texas. It is June 3rd, 2025, 5:31 PM. We call this meeting to order.
Good afternoon. Item number one, call to order. Item number two, establishment of quorum. Andrew Arroyos,
Here.
Enrique Cisneros, absent. David Estrada,
Here.
Julie Dominguez, absent. Osvaldo Reza,
Here.
Yolanda Rodriguez. Here. We have a quorum with 4 commissioners present. Item number 3, open forum. Esteban, do we have anyone that would like to speak? Thank you. Item number 4, consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
I second.
I have a motion made by Andrew Arroyo, second by Yolanda Rodriguez to approve. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. Item number 5, public hearing on the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of Track 4, Block 3, Socorro Grant, located at 10732 Horn Circle, Socorro, Texas, from R1 Single Family Residential to C2 General Commercial with a conditional use permit and a variance request from Section 46-631 off-street parking requirements, subsection 15, to allow a reduction in parking space requirements of 1 space per 800 square feet of net leasable area instead of the 1 space per 200 square feet requirements to allow for a fabrication shop. Mr. Arroyos?
Good afternoon, everybody. We will open public hearing at 5:33. We do not have
We
any
have nobody.
anybody to speak on this, so we will close at 5:33 PM.
Thank you. Item number 6, consider and take action on the approval of the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of Track 4-D-15, Block 3, Socorro Grant, located at 10732 Horn Circle, Socorro, Texas, from R1 Single Family Residential to C2 General Commercial, with a conditional use permit and a variance request from Section 46-631 off-street parking requirements, subsection 15, to allow a reduction in parking spaces requirements of 1 space per 800 square feet of net leasable area instead of the 1 space per 200 square feet requirement to allow for a fabrication shop. Mr. Botella?
Good evening, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. Jose Botello, planner with the City of Socorro. Item number 6 on the agenda is the rezoning request at 10732 Horn Circle. So some general information on this rezoning request. The property owners are Mr. Gilbert Aranda and Jeronimo Luevanos, the representative being Mr. Gilberto Aranda, who is also present today at this meeting. The lot size is 2.01 acres. The property is currently zoned R1, which is single-family residential. The current land use is commercial, and our future land use map in the Socorro 2040 comprehensive plan shows this property as rural residential. And so the request for the summary of this request is for approval of rezoning of a property from R1 to C2 with a conditional use permit to allow for a fabrication shop and also for a variance request. Staff is recommending approval of the rezoning request. Staff is also recommending approval of the conditional use permit and recommending approval of the variance request from Section 46-631 off-street parking requirements, subsection 15, which would be of 1 space per 800 square feet of net leasable area instead of the 1 space per 200 square foot requirement. And this is once again to allow for a fabrication shop. And so on the next slide, you'll see that the property is situated on the corner of Lark and Horn Circle. And then the property is outlined in the blue, thick blue line. The yellow is denoting the R1 Single Family Residential Zoning District. These are some pictures taken of the property. The picture on top is from Horn Circle, and the picture on the bottom was taken from Lark Road. Followed by an aerial image. You can see the property outlined in the yellow line. And this is a future land use map taken directly from our Socorro 2040 comprehensive plan, the tan overlay signifying the rural residential zoning that was anticipated for this property. And the public was notified within 200 feet of this property. Staff didn't receive any correspondence or calls regarding this rezoning request. And these were the letters that were sent out to notify the public for this rezoning request and variance and conditional use permit, followed by the site plan showing what the intent is, which is to allow the fabrication shop. You can see the parking area and a very preliminary ponding area at the very top. And so once again, the request for approval of a rezoning of a property from R1 to C2 with a conditional use permit to allow for a fabrication shop and a variance request. And at this time, staff can answer any questions. We have also Mr. Aranda present to answer any questions as well.
I don't have any questions.
I'd like to see this map again. I know, like on that slide, you probably can't, but can you see the whole neighborhood of what's in there right now? The whole subdivision?
No, this is just
It's only that one.
you're wanting to zoom out to look
Yeah.
at the larger area. These are static maps. We could look at a Google Earth if you wanted to point out, or to our planning and zoning map, if you wanted to make a reference to something within the zoning or the larger area.
Yeah, I'd like to see what that subdivision is.
It isn't a
Developing
subdivision, it's an
into.
unplatted, right? It's an unplatted lot.
Correct.
It's still in tract form,
The lot is.
that lot. That parcel is unplatted.
But I'm not familiar with the area, right? But I'm wanting to see like that whole section aerial and see what's out there. How many single families are out there? Are there any other C2 zoning in this area? It's because we're seeing just like a cross section of that subdivision, right? And it's like a big corner or a big section of
That
North
neighborhood,
Loop and Horizon,
Mhm.
yeah. That's a lot bigger area right there. There you go. So where's the lot at? That's the lot?
That's, yes.
Weren't there some apartments that came up on Horn?
Yeah,
Those are those completed already?
I believe so.
They're close, huh? And so, like the future land map use, it says it was rural residential? Like from what year was that map from?
2025, 2024. That is our most recent plan that was approved in July of 2024.
Uh-huh. Alright. Any questions?
I have a question. So, it looks like, the owner of the property has been operating some kind of a commercial business there already? Are we just trying to, make it right and go to a commercial zone? Because it does look like he has some kind of a commercial business already. Is that, am I right?
Yes, that's
Okay,
correct.
Okay,
Mhm.
so he has actually been operating as a commercial business for all these years. And I think now he's just trying to make it right?
That's correct.
That's correct, okay, all right. And that was my question.
Did he get cited on anything? Did he get,
Yes, I believe there was a notice of violation issued for the work on the property, which is currently zoned R1.
what is he using it as right now? What is he doing? What is he fabricating?
Believe they're fabricating,
The applicant
Is-
has-
or
Is the applicant here? Can
Can,
you speak to the applicant, please?
if you like, if you want to pass. If I could just.
Speak a little louder. Okay, what's the commercial thing? What are we doing now?
Can you state your name, sir, please?
What?
Can you state your name, please?
Gilberto Aranda.
and do you speak English? Or-
Yes,
Okay,
both.
Okay, good. I was asking, it looks like you have been operating a
Yes,
business
we
there.
we're out of compliance, so we want to comply and fence it in.
Okay.
We're gonna tear everything down, fence it in, get the dust leveled down, get the ponding, get a paint booth, and everything will be enclosed.
Okay,
Because right now we have some different structures that were there, that we're working on, but it doesn't look right, and a lot of people pass by there. So we just want to enclose it and make it right, and pay the taxes as commercial. Because all the red you see, that's commercial.
yes, okay,
And so we've been fine, we paid everything in full, we just wanna get everything done correctly and
Right.
enroll, because we're handing a loan from the bank to, tear everything down like my dad. He said that we tear it down, build from new, level it, bonding, a new building, fence all around, 360 degrees, just do it right, so we could, continue working, because we're building apartments on East Lake, we just fabricate there, and then we go install.
We don't sell retail, we don't sell to customers, we just,
There's no customers coming in, it's just, we have our set customers that we do work for, so we fabricate, and then we just go install.
okay.
What is it that you're fabricating?
hand railing and, like the apartments that are in the corner, vaqueras, all the stairs and the handrails.
And the laser cut panels for like the decorative panels for the apartments, like anything metal, we
Metal.
fabricate.
Yes, that'll be done, everything inside the building.
Yeah, everything will be done inside our future building. If this gets approved, then the bank will, release the funds so we can start construction. And we make automotive parts too, but everything is done with the CNC plasma indoors. And we just fabricate and then we go install, and that's all we do. We don't keep anything. The only material we keep is the one that we're using for that project.
Okay. Okay, that was my question.
You guys familiar with that? Or?
I am.
Yes.
I've gone by there several times. We take shortcuts through there
Yeah.
sometimes.
Everyone-
Right, that's a
Come out
mess,
the
it's
other
a
way,
mess
right?
right now.
Everybody
Right,
gets
so we
shortcut there.
take shortcuts, and I think it's in good faith for you guys to come and say you wanna bring it up to a commercial property.
Yes.
Because in fact, you are using it
Everything
as a-
around there is commercial, pretty much. They have a tire shop down the street.
Yeah.
They have a yard, a lot of 18-wheelers parked there.
Yes.
Right in front, they're selling currently the 2.5 acres that are gonna get rezoned for commercial as well. So literally everything, you got the Gandaras recycling down the street off of that close street as well. So everything pretty much there is commercial already itself.
Do you have the overlay showing the zoning for that subdivision right now? The zoning areas?
That all red is commercial.
Well,
That's
yeah,
the
but
future land use map.
the subdivision. Like the aerial view that we have right now, but there should be like an overlay more that we can.
The planning and zoning page has the zoning map. That will allow you to zoom in and out.
It does look like there's empty properties around your
Oh, yes,
section.
yes.
To the right.
The one
to
in
the
pink, that's commercial, then the one in red across from us, that's commercial, and then all the way around.
The yellow is R1.
Yes, right now.
Actually, the one in pink is higher commercial. So
Yeah, this higher commercial property.
anyone that's higher than what we're asking for. We just want to be C2, normal commercial.
No, the pink is C1.
Is it?
Yeah.
C1 also? Okay.
It's less intense,
Okay.
but across
Yes.
from you on Horn, a little farther down is an M1, which is more
Okay.
intense than the C2.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so what I'm, I see, okay, so I see, okay, point out Horizon and North Loop for me, please, just to make sure. That's Horizon and North Loop, okay. Okay, and so that C2 on the upper left, that's the furthest corner on the, yeah. This one? The opposite, catty corner, the other way? So that,
Where Horn Circle ends,
Yeah,
on,
where Horn
onto
Circle,
North
yeah.
Loop, on the bottom
okay,
end.
so that
it
area
empties.
right there, like that whole area. And I see where where the applicant's lot is at, but I see that right there, and we've got M2, C2, A1, R2, C, I mean, you know, the, everything in red, which is C2 up again, up along, the major highway, the major streets. But everything in there is just, it's like, how do you say it? Capilota. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm wondering how many, I know there's still some single families in there, right? And so I'm just seeing, like, from our perspective, I personally, I like it, the rustic rural, because that's what it used to be many, many years ago. But now, because we got all commercial and,
But there won't be any heavy traffic, like big rigs, 18, we don't work on that. And we have a delivery once every 2 months on material, and that's it. It's just normal cars. We're not an automotive big rig shop. We don't do that.
The only people who go in our shop is our employees, that's basically it. Because we fabricate everything inside the shop and then we just go install.
okay, it is what it is. I wish it was all commercial along the outside, and then on the inside, one particular zone. If it's all C1, then make it all C1. If it's all single family, then it's all single family. But the way we're doing it right now is just whoever comes in here with their parcel is gonna look at that, and it's just gonna be a bunch of different stuff that's gonna end up being there.
But I also think that, how long have you been operating there?
Like, I would say like 3 years?
3 years. So for 3 years, you've been actually running a commercial business.
Yeah.
there. And so I
Yes, ma'am.
think that it would be going in the opposite direction to penalize them for coming in and saying, we're gonna come up to par and do what we're supposed to do. I think that they've been doing this for 3 years and now they wanna make it right. I think most of these are, like you say, it's a lot of mixture in there. When I go through there, are hardly, most of the residentials are a little bit further in than from this section right here, if you look at it. A lot of commercial there, and even though they might be R1s, but they're operating as a
And nobody
commercial.
complained from the letters that were sent out,
That's right.
correct?
No.
We
We
didn't
don't
get
Been
any,
there for 3 years.
there were no
Nobody has
responses
complained,
or
the
anything,
opportunity
so.
was given.
Go ahead.
I'm Daryl Mott with the El Paso Veterans and Riders. We're community partners with Ram Industries. And since we've been working together for about a year, we went out there and talked to all the local neighbors and everything, see how they felt about it, and there were no complaints. And then we said, well, how do you feel if they went commercial and everything? And well, they said they've been here anyway. Besides being invited in for a couple of beers, it generally went pretty smooth. You know, we're on official business, we couldn't drink. But anyway, they were very receptive to it, and the lot is kept as clean as possible. But if they can qualify for the rezoning, then they get the land, then they can start enclosing it more. It's not really that much of an eyesore considering what they do. It's just that it just makes it better security for them, and it does present a better thing on the city of Socorro. With them growing as fast as they are and extending businesses outward, it's a good plug for City of Socorro because they're gonna say, wow, you got this here. And the revenue and everything would be generated. Hopefully if they grow, they'll hire more employees. And then they can grow and it benefits the community. It's also a veteran-owned business. And that's a good thing, because with you guys, everybody likes to help veterans, and we appreciate it. But I could see I think it'd be very beneficial. We did come in and advise them. We did come in and talk to the people in the neighborhood. We had no complaints, nothing. And we went door to door, drove around. We had to find some owners for some lots and everything, go and talk to them. But we had really nobody come and say anything bad about it. They actually seemed welcoming of them. And some did say that, yeah, a fence around would be a little bit cleaner looking or something like that, so. Okay. Any questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions? No?
No.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the zoning request with the conditional use permit and the variance request also.
I'll second.
I have a motion made by Andrew Arroyo, second by Osvaldo Reza to approve. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. Item number 7, public hearing on the proposed amendments to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of Lot 5, Block 8, Mary Lou Park subdivision located at 636 Maxine Drive, Socorro, Texas, from R1 Single Family Residential to R2 Medium Density Residential to allow for a duplex. Mr. Arroyos?
Good afternoon, we will open public hearing at 5:52.
We have anybody that would like to speak.
We don't have any speakers, so we will close at 5:52.
Thank you. Item number 8, consider and take action on the approval of the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning a Lot 5, Block 8, Mary Lou Park subdivision located at 636 Maxine Drive, Socorro, Texas, from R1 Single Family Residential to R2 Medium Density Residential to allow for a duplex. Mr. Botello?
Good evening, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. Item number 8 on the agenda is the rezoning request at 636 Maxine Drive. And so some general information on this request. Thank you. The property owner is Mr. Humberto Endelia Munoz, representative also being Mr. Humberto Endelia Munoz. This property is 9,815 square feet, currently zoned R1. The property is currently vacant, and the future land use map in the Socorro 2040 Comprehensive Plan showed this property as suburban residential. And so the summaries for this request is for approval of a rezoning of a property from R1 to R2 to allow for a duplex. And staff is recommending approval of the request to rezone the property. And so you can see from this location map that the property is situated along Maxine Drive, within close vicinity to Delilah Avenue. And the property is outlined in the thick red line, the yellow denoting the R1 single family zoning district. And this is a view of the property from Maxine Drive. You can't see into the property, it's fenced in. Followed by the aerial image. Property is currently vacant. This is a future land use map. The yellow overlay would be the suburban residential zoning under the Socorro 2040 Comprehensive Plan. And then this is a map of the subdivision being Mary Lou Park. The subdivision was recorded back in October 11 of 1971. It currently holds 94 R1 properties, 3 R2 zoned properties, 1 R3. And then it also is composed of 4 C1 zoned properties and 12 C2 properties. And it currently has 6 vacant lots, including this lot. And so the public was notified for this rezoning request, and staff did not receive any correspondence in favor or in opposition for this rezoning request. Followed by the public notice letters, both in English and Spanish. And then this is the site plan that was presented showing the units. followed by a supplemental document showing more or less the square footage and the layout for each unit. And so once again, the summary is for approval of the rezoning of a property from R1 to R2 to allow for a duplex. And at this time, staff can answer any questions.
So the property next door is already in R2?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have any questions, Mr. Besa.
Nobody's opposed to it, right?
No. Okay.
I'm good, I don't have any questions.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
I second.
I have a motion made by Andrew Arroyo, second by Yolanda Rodriguez to approve. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. Item number 9, public hearing on the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of Tract 10I, Block 3, Socorro Grant, located at the intersection of East Bird Road and Range War Court, Socorro, Texas, from R1 Single Family Residential to R2 Medium Density Residential to allow for the development of a single family residential lots on a vacant undeveloped property. Mr. Arroyos?
Good afternoon. We will open public hearing at 5:58.
We have no speakers.
We have no speakers, so we will close public hearing at 5:58.
Thank you. Item number 10, consider and take action on the approval of the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of Tract 10I, Block 3, Socorro Grant, located at intersection of East Bird Road and Range War Court, Socorro, Texas, from R1 Single Family Residential to R2 Medium Density Residential to allow for the development of a single family residential lots on a vacant undeveloped property. Mr. Botello?
Good evening, Mr. Chair and Commissioners.
Afternoon, Mr. Boteo. I'd like to tell everybody that I will be abstaining from this item. Just because I don't work for that company, but I work with the owners related to that company.
Understood, thank you. So item number 10 on the agenda is the rezoning request at 10974 East Burt Road. And so some general information on this request. The property owner is the Bowling Brothers Development Company LLC, the representative being Mr. Enrique Escobar. The lot size for this property is 3.44 acres. The property is currently zoned R1, which is single-family residential. For the land use, the property is currently vacant, and the future land use map under the Socorro 2040 Comprehensive Plan shows this property as rural residential. And for the summary of the request, once again, it is for approval of a rezoning of a property from R1 to R2 to allow for the development of single-family residential lots on a vacant, undeveloped property. And staff is recommending approval of that rezoning request. And so on the location map, you'll see that the property is situated along Burt Road and Range War Court. And the property requesting to rezone is outlined in the thick red line. You can see the yellow overlay showing that the property is currently zoned R1, and there are a few R2s within close vicinity to this property, followed by some pictures of the property taken from East Burt Road. You can see that the property is currently vacant, followed by the aerial image and the future land use map, the tan overlay representing the rural residential zoning district that was envisioned under the Socorro 2040 Comprehensive Plan. Constituents that are within 200 feet of this property were notified for this rezoning request. We did not receive any correspondence either in opposition or in support of this rezoning request. And then followed by the letters both in English and Spanish, notifying the constituents for this public hearing, and followed by the site plan showing what the intent would be, which is to establish the single-family residential lots and a street that would be incorporated to allow for the circulation of these residential lots. And so once again, the summary of the request is for approval of a rezoning of a property from R1 to R2 to allow for the development of single-family residential lots on a vacant, undeveloped property. And at this time, staff can answer any questions. We also have Mr. Escarate present to answer any questions as well.
Okay, and I know we've seen another one on here recently, but what's the width of Burt Road? Like, the right of way for Burt Road, more or less? And then,
Bert, that would be more or less 55 feet.
more or less, okay. The applicant is here, can we ask some questions for the applicant?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Jorge Escarate with CA Group for the record. Commissioner, to answer your question, we were proposing it's a 60-foot right-of-way with a 40-foot paved roadway from curb to curb. So it's in line with the City of Socorro standards.
Okay, so we had looked at another subdivision earlier, and then I see that the next item is 5 acres,
Across it,
yeah, across it.
kind of across it, right?
Across, okay, so all of those will be connected to Burt Road?
Correct,
They're not connected to any other subdivisions or anything like that?
correct. This is all through Burt Road. The other one across it does have a connection to Horizon Park Unit 1, Replat A,
For the apartments?
that also provides access through Francisco Vaquera to Horizon Boulevard as well.
Okay. And all services, like utilities, are they already on Burt Road? I imagine so.
There's utilities on Burt Road, and actually, as part of this development, we're gonna be extending water and sewer to some of our neighbors abutting it. Right now, they are currently landlocked. The property to the, I guess, to the west of us, landlocked and have no services. Now, we're gonna bring up a roadway, paved roadway, that they're gonna have access to so that they can come in out of their property. And while we're gonna extend service to the property line, water and sewer, and then just end it there, and then they can go ahead and extend it if they need to.
Okay, could we do the aerial like we did on the first item, the aerial view? Just to get a better idea. Which property are we looking at right now?
That one.
That one, okay, where are the apartments going up relative to the slab?
Further, they're probably under construction
there.
further out,
Okay.
right about there, yes.
And then the last subdivision that was approved off of Burt Road, where was that at? Like a few months ago?
It's
The one right in front.
where it says,
Right
right there,
That one?
right there, yes.
Okay, and so then the 5 acres that we have coming up in the next item, where's that at?
It's that one.
That,
That one's, what's before you, what you heard before was a preliminary plat. This is now the final plat.
That's the final. so
Right, it's the
that
same,
one. Oh,
it's the
okay,
same that you heard about 3 weeks ago, possibly, or 2 weeks ago? And now it's the final plat.
Okay, and so can you tell us what you were explaining a while ago is what services you'll be extending to whoever's landlocked?
We're gonna be extending the tradition, which is water, sewer, gas, electric. And then there's, obviously, we always bring in AT&T or Spectrum. They bring in their conduits in the public right of way, and then they don't really extend it until people ask for it. So,
And all those utilities are already on Burt Road, or are you bringing them in from Horizon?
so water, sewer, gas, they're on Burt Road.
They're on.
We're just bringing them into,
Which properties are landlocked here?
the two between
One's off of Mesa Drive.
Mesa Drain,
Those are landlocked.
those right there. So right now, they are using the Mesa Spur Drain as their access point to their homes.
And so, will they have access onto this proposal?
So if you go to the site plan, showed that we're providing a paved road right
To them?
to them,
So
correct?
they're over on the left, those guys right there?
Yes, right there, correct.
And so they'll
But
be
not
there.
everybody will have access to that road, correct? Only the two lots adjacent to that.
It's a public road, so whoever, I mean,
Yeah, but the lots over here on, well, how I'm seeing it on the left-hand side, they belong to somebody, don't they?
right,
So the road won't
We
get
don't-
all the way to Mesa Drain per se.
correct,
Yeah.
right.
So only the two owners of those lots will have access to that
Right,
road.
right, right, right. Now, the other people, if those individuals want to grant access to those, then that's,
An easement or
that's
something.
between them, right, right.
Now, I have a question. In regards to the 5 acres, I remember that item. When we talked about services, those 5 acres are not gonna connect to the sewage on Burke Road, and we had some residents in here complaining about the issues that they have on the sewage and whatnot. And those 5 acres are gonna be connecting to the community up on Escobar
Right.
Services, correct?
Okay,
These 3.5 acres will be connecting to the sewage off of Burke Road?
correct.
Okay,
And then
now,
drainage, we'll be handling our own drainage, as well as any half right-of-way of Burt Road.
okay, what about sidewalks and all that? 'Cause I know that was
Sidewalks,
concerns to
that
them.
was a question that was asked on
Any
the,
parks that'll be getting done there to them?
no, this is only 18 lots, so it's,
Okay.
I mean, we'll be paying park fees, so as part of Horizon Park Unit 1, which is the larger community that we talked about, there's gonna be 2 parks in that area. One park, actually, the plans just got submitted today for the city to go ahead and start reviewing.
Okay,
And it had amenities and, you know, in conformance to the City of Socorro park design standards that, at the time that the subdivision started. So we'll be paying park fees as part of this, and then typically the city tries to use those park fees to upgrade the adjoining or adjacent park in that area with some type of enhancements.
okay. And in regards to the 5 acres across the street, those will also have access to Burt Road? Because if I'm
Yes,
not
sir.
mistaken, they were only gonna have access from Escobar.
No, it
So
was
they
a
will have
connection to
both-
Burt Road.
Both developments will have access to the Burt Road
Yes, sir,
as well.
correct.
I do know that the residents off of Burt Road were happy that this, or were with it, because they currently have sewage problems with Lower Valley on Burt Road. Is that something you guys? have
So
known
we've
about?
talked sometimes to the Lower Valley, so sometimes what ends up happening with, in these facilities, that if you don't have enough sewage passing through a sewer line, then the sewer just stays
Dries
there.
up, yeah.
Right, dries up. Because minimum is an 8-inch that the Lower Valley has. So if you only have 2 residents, well, you don't have enough, push on the sewer line to flow it through. I think this will end up helping, trying to push some of that sewer
And
out
prevent those blockages.
to
from
prevent,
happening.
you know, I guess for it to back up or anything like that, so.
So the existing shoreline is enough to accommodate all of Burt Road, everybody?
Oh,
in it?
yes,
It's
yeah.
enough, and that goes
An
down-
8-inch sewer line, if I'm not mistaken, it depends on the slope, but a minimum slope, you can probably have about 800 homes on an 8-inch sewer line.
And how long ago was that put in? Was that like really old or?
I don't know.
I remember on the last meeting we had, they said it was somewhere near like 5 years, and that's why they were having the issues, because they were trying to get Lower Valley back out there. So they were looking forward to it, so that can be established. Now, okay, go ahead. With that being said, how do the residents off of Middle Drain get access to it? They have to request it, or is that something you guys are gonna accommodate to them?
Ask for what, I'm sorry?
The residents off of Mesa Drain, for the services, like the sewage, the water, the cable?
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave a manhole at the end. As a matter of
Okay.
fact, we're designing, that's one of my direction.
Okay.
And then we're gonna put a water valve at the end. So we can shut it off whenever people wanna extend, then they have to ask the request. We can't make the request for them, because the people that want to get the service, they're the ones who have to go to the utility and make the request.
This is, that manhole would be off of Sophie Arroyo's
It
Drive?
would be, no, it would be right there.
Okay.
where the
And that
cursor's
is
at.
Sophie Arroyo's, right?
Right
Or
now,
am
it's
I
Street
looking
A, we haven't named that street,
Okay.
but it's right there where the cursor's at right now. Thank you.
So, I'm looking at this backwards, so Burt, Street A,
That's Burt right there,
uh-huh,
And then the manhole would be right in the, where the TV's on the monitor, where the cursor's at, that's where the manhole's gonna be.
Okay, same thing with that valve that you.
The water valve,
mentioned.
correct.
How many residents are back there right now in Mesa Drain?
I believe there's two, which is those two structures, those two homes right there.
Okay. Okay. And as far on Burt Road, I think you mentioned earlier, what will you be improving on Burt Road?
We're gonna put sidewalks, and then we're gonna end up taking the half of the runoff. The other development that's gonna be heard after this one, we're taking our half of that runoff as well for Burt Road. So we're putting inlets, actually, we're oversizing the inlets, quite a bit, just to make sure that we capture all the runoff, and if there's any excess runoff, goes into the inlets.
Okay, so sidewalks in front of that
On-
particular parcel?
On Burt, right, whatever abuts our property, we're gonna be putting sidewalks, correct.
Okay. No improvements down the line, down to Horizon?
Not at this time, since it's beyond our limits of the property, correct.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't have any questions.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion made by David Estrada, second by Osvaldo Reza, to approve. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Anyone abstain?
Abstain.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Item number 11, Planning and Zoning Commissioners Report.
Isn't there an
There's
item
another.
missing?
There's another item.
There's item number,
11.
I'm so sorry. I do apologize about that. Consider and take action on the approval of the proposed final plat for Horizon Park Unit 3 subdivision, being tract 10-J, Block 3, Socorro Grant, located at 10971 East Burt Road, Socorro, Texas. Mr. Botello?
again, I'd just like to advise everybody that I'm going to be abstaining from this one as well, for the same reasons.
Good evening, Commissioners. Item number 11 on the agenda is the Horizon Park Unit 3 final plat. Thank you. So some general information on this request. Property owner is the Bowling Brothers Development Company LLC. Representative is Mr. Enrique Escobar. The size of the property is 5.165 acres, currently zoned R2, which is medium-density residential, and the current land use is residential and agricultural. And for this request, the summary is for approval of a final plat for Horizon Park Unit 3 subdivision, and staff is recommending approval of the final plat for Horizon Park Unit 3 subdivision. And then on the next slide, you'll see that the property is situated along Burt Road, within close vicinity to Horizon Boulevard. The next slide, you'll see the property outlined in the red, the thick red line, the orange denoting the R2 medium density residential zoning district. And this is a view of the property from East Burt Road, followed by an aerial image. And then the final plat showing the connection through Sophia Arroyo's Drive, connecting this subdivision to Horizon Park Unit 1 Replat A. And so once again, the summary of this request is for approval of a final plat for Horizon Park Unit 3 subdivision. And at this time, staff can answer any questions. We also have Mr. Azcarate present to answer any questions as well.
I have a question. And this is the one I guess I got confused in regards to the streets. So there's how many lots on this subdivision?
It's similar in size, so it's about,
They're both about the same, right?
yes, sir. It's hard to see.
17.
Yeah.
17.
17 on this one and then 18 on the other one.
Yes, sir, correct.
17, one of them is a pond on the other one.
One of them is a pond. Yeah, they look almost the same. Okay.
Okay, I remember this one.
Yeah.
There aren't any major, there's no major changes or anything from that.
Yeah, I'm good.
Good to go.
Okay.
Okay, motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion made by David Estrada, second by Osvaldo Reza to approve. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain?
Abstain.
Motion carried. Item number 12, Planning and Zoning Commissioners Report.
I don't have
Don't have
anything.
anything. Teresa? Estrada?
Aye. And
Oh.
it feels good to be back for a while. Work just got into me. The only other thing I will say, throughout the city, so first of all, great job on that Bovee Bridge. But if we can request the speed humps to be painted. I know I had mentioned it a couple of months back, and all subdivisions, because and I know in Haciendas del Valle, they're not painted. Out there on, what's that other one? Villas del Este, and the Bovee one. And I just say it because of the school, since we have Socorro Elementary there. I know they put the speed radars, but at night, the people jump those speed humps. So in those two areas, if we can get them, that'd be great, painted, because you can't see them. They just put a new sign in front of the school and they already knocked it down when you try to go around it, so that would be great. Please.
Perfect.
I would like a high-tech sign to, make your engine shut off if you're going past 40 miles an hour. Just going down Horizon.
Yeah.
It is horrible.
Yeah.
It is bad. So, I know that, I think there's a lot of good stuff going on with the city. There's a lot of improvements.
A lot.
I think, we're trying to keep up with the other side of the I-10, but, we're almost there, I think. I think we're almost there. We just need a lot more entertainment, instead of a lot of warehouses. And I think you see it all over the place.
I also have a question, because I don't want to mess up on information that I have out there. So, born and raised in Socorro, and then a lot of people know I'm here, Commissioner. They're calling me right now about that Arterial 1 project, right, going on. What do we tell them? Like, they ask me, hey, well, what's going on? Where is it gonna go? What's been approved? I know they have this walk going down as a farmer as well. I have a lot of farmers calling me, hey, you should be like, what do I do? What do I tell them? I have no clue of what's going on. What do we respond to that?
Do you want to jump into the director's report?
Okay,
Because I was going to talk about that.
Let's do it.
Along with another item.
okay.
Was there anything else?
Okay. Item number 13, Planning and Zoning Department Report. Ms. Lurie?
Thank you very much, Miriam. And to answer your question, you can direct them to our office, the Planning and Zoning Office, and I will take the time to answer any questions that they may have that I can answer. And if I don't have the answers, I can certainly get them for the constituents. We have been receiving a lot of calls and questions regarding the next phase, these next steps, where we are in Arterial 1. For those of you who are not aware, this project started back in 2019. COVID happened, interrupted the public involvement. There were some other operational administrative changes that happened during that time as well that caused some delays. So when it came back around for a preferred alternative, a lot of time had passed, and it was determined that we would revisit the alternatives that were initially looked at. A lot of development had happened, a lot of changes had happened in the community. And that's about the point where I jumped in, so I started in February of 2023. We have been meeting with the consultants on our team, with coordinating with TxDOT, coordinating with the MPO, and have been meeting with the public as well. We had a big meeting at Socorro High School back in July, and we are now at the point where and even back then, that meeting in July was to introduce other alternatives. Now we are at the point where we've picked an alternative that we're going to look into more deeply. So environmental aspects of the project, what is in this corridor, how are we impacting humans, life, wildlife. So this next level of investigation is going to go a little further. Is this alignment the one that we are going to stick with? That's not necessarily the case. Right now, we're still in the process of investigating and studying the alternatives, this alternative more deeply. We had a meeting on May 21st at Robert Rojas Elementary, and that was the start of our public comment period. We had the whole team out there at the cafeteria. We had schematic drawings. People were able to go in and look for their address to see where they were with relation to this alternative. It was really well attended, and a product of that meeting was a lot more people were informed and a lot more people want information. So we have extended the deadline for comment period, so that deadline period had initially been June 5th, but it's been extended to Friday, June 13th. You can find the link for your opportunity to make your comments on our City of Socorro webpage. So if you go to the main city webpage and scroll down just a little past the introduction items, you'll find a link to our project page. Awesome, thank you, Esteban. So this is Arterial 1, 1682 Boulevard. If you click on that Click Me Arterial link, this is our project page. We have information about the meeting, and it will also direct you to the TxDOT page. We have the newsletters that were distributed ahead of the meeting, the notices that were sent out, as well as the comment page. You can fill out this comment sheet and submit it via email or by regular mail. If you click on that bottom link, it'll take you to the comment page. And this is a PDF for you to print and send in or email in. The TxDOT page takes you to a little more information, all of the bulletins that were displayed at the meeting. It also has the presentation that was presented at the meeting. If you scroll down, you have all of the meeting materials. So everything that was shared that day, except for a flyover, which was really interesting as well, but that might just take a little longer to get back onto the webpage. The schematic is really good to look at. You can zoom in, pan around, and see where this. Again, it's preliminary. We can go through this process and find some information that we weren't able to see in the beginning that could change the route, may cause us to redirect. But we are at this point now, and still in the public comment period. All of the information that anybody can provide in favor of, against, is encouraged. If anybody has questions, you can direct them to our office and they can speak to me.
And the extension of that comment period is for that, so that the residents can go in and comment.
Yes.
What benefit does it do to them? That they're gonna get heard?
Yes,
Is that gonna
of
change
course.
the route?
That they can get heard, that they can present their information, that they can present information that maybe staff or the consultants are not aware of. All of this gets taken into consideration. Unfortunately, we are in a very tough position. If we want to build roads, if we want to extend our networks and provide connectivity and make it easier to navigate our vehicles in and around Socorro, we're going to have to build roads. And there's nowhere really in Socorro where you're not going to impact somebody either directly or indirectly. It would be great if you could anticipate and have the resources to produce, to make these decisions, put the roads in before the development. But these larger projects, cities, municipalities don't have those types of resources. But we are trying to address these issues as best we can moving forward. There are things that can be done to help mitigate the negative aspects of any project, and those can be looked at as well. But yes, it's important for everyone to voice their opinion, to have their opinion noted. And the earlier in the process, the better.
And so this aerial is supposed to go all the way from I-10 to Socorro?
Socorro Road.
All
Can
the
they
way
show
to
us by
Socorro.
any chance exactly where it's
Sure,
gonna
do you
go?
wanna go back to the TechStop page and click on the link that says schematics?
With that being said, I got a call from a gentleman right there off of Anderson, well, actually off of a couple, right? And especially the ones that are promoting the Thursday walk or whatnot that they're doing, that they're gonna do eminent domain on that. I'm like, I don't know on all that. Is that something that's gonna happen? Is that something that TxDOT is gonna do?
So
Does
this
it-
is another opportunity to clarify that this is a City of Socorro project. We, as the City of Socorro, are the lead, but because this is in coordination with TxDOT and because that's who gets the money is funneled through, and also the MPO, because that's where the money is allocated regionally. It's a partnership, but we are the lead, and we are in charge of hiring the consultants, meeting regularly to make sure we're on track, gathering information where we can, sharing the meeting information where we can, and putting in our percent toward this, our percentage toward this, what we have to commit dollar-wise to this project. Right now, we're only getting through this first phase. We don't have construction dollars allocated for this. Right now, the MPO is preparing their next long-range plan, so here's an opportunity. If we decide that this is where we need to go, this is good to move forward, then we can request the funding for the construction. But at this point, we still don't have construction. There's still several steps to that, and the project timeline for this has us in construction in 2028, 2030. So this is a long-term project that we're making our way through. I lost my train of thought. What was your question again?
The other one was like, oh, they're saying they're gonna buy.
Oh,
off our
eminent
lands.
domain,
Yeah.
right? So that's, in this whole long process, it's like the narrowing it down to where are we putting this road? Is this environmentally cleared well, to design it? This is going to be the route. These are the impacts. This is how we can mitigate the negative impacts. And this is where we're going to move forward. Now, the next phase is the actual schematics and drawings and designs, clearing the environmental, and then going into the next step of right-of-way acquisition. If there are properties that are impacted, what level of impact? Are you talking about, hey, we need 10 feet of your front property? Hey, we're going to take more than a certain amount, and then negotiations happen, whether it's 10 feet or a whole property. That's the next step of negotiating. And because, again, this is federal funding, we have a process that we need to follow, and that's a uniform act. That's all, not just, again, led by us, overseen by TxDOT, so that everything is fair and equitable.
And so where is it supposed to come out on the other side of Alameda?
So So if you wanna
You have to
start
cross
at one
Alameda.
end and then make our way through,
Yeah.
do you wanna
Yes, sir.
start, go to the far right on this, uh-huh.
It doesn't look like that's the right road.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that.
I think they have the wrong
yeah,
map
doesn't
up.
look familiar at all.
Okay, we'll reach out to TechStop to fix that.
Okay.
Yeah, it says I-84.
Oh, yeah, no.
It
So
says
I
what?
have another question. About a month ago, or even more maybe, I know we had an applicant here that, was going to, the road on Bauman was gonna go up to I-10,
It was a
Do I
rezoning on North Loop
right?
to commercial from A1.
Okay.
And this rezoning was their first phase,
Uh-huh.
and they own pretty much all of the
Everything
land
going up,
between
right? North Loop
North
and
Loop
I-10.
and the city limits. There's a
Okay.
stretch that's outside of their ownership and
Uh-huh.
extends out to the county. So that is that individual developer's plan for that. That does not, that doesn't involve federal funding, state funding. It is an alignment that somebody is trying to make for that development.
Okay.
But it ultimately, they would like to be able to provide that commercial development on North Loop, build their residential development, and have access up to
Right.
the
Right,
gateway.
but that's, you're saying it's not federally funded?
No, that's
That is
a
privately
private
owned.
development.
Okay.
I was gonna add it, because you had a question on the condemnation, so, and you guys probably heard it before, I've used it, but I've done it twice with the city. We did it on Nueva Tanks Road, I think, maybe Fray Alguin Roads, it was another one. It just, sometimes it depends on who owns the road. Once you start doing the title paperwork, sometimes the owner is actually own a little piece of the road altogether, or sometimes it's been there in place for so long, open to the public, that the city actually owns it, even though there's nothing on title, but it's open to the public. So then, if they need portions of the road, you have to negotiate with each owner. So like on Nueva Tanks Road, that process took me, I think, 3 years, 2 to 3 years. Because you gotta send, like Lorraine said, everything's TxDOT forms. So everything we did, we had to run it by TxDOT, get their approval, they give us the okay, we'd send it out, you make an offer. Most everybody negotiated, some people just gave the land, but then they all wanted something in exchange. One guy wanted a traffic light agreement, another guy wanted a curb cut out at a certain place in the curbs in the middle of the road so that people could turn it. So every single person we had to negotiate. Then you don't just need the road, but then you need easements on both sides for utilities. So then people were negotiating that. So then we had to send multiple offers for the land, then also then for the easement. And then on that one, the electric lines, I think, used to be on the other side of the road. So then we had to work with the electric company to redo it, move all the poles on the other side. And then they put, I think, the newer poles, maybe like the metal ones. So that was the whole thing, and then people had to give, there's a lot of give and take back and forth, and it depends on if people will be easy or not. Because a lot of times residents will say, oh yeah, we want the road, we want this access and everything. And you start condemning their property, and they're like, hold on, not mine though. Or I want top dollar, or I'm gonna take the city to court, and we're gonna fight it out for months. So it depends on those people, if they make it easy or not. Ultimately, I mean, the city has a right through eminent domain to use roads and create rights of way, but it just depends. And that one, maybe there was like 13, 14 owners, so it depends on how many people you're dealing with. EPCC was one of the people we're dealing with, the Lower Valley Water District. Then there's crossings, and you gotta deal with those and do like a lease agreement, I think, with so, that whole process, like I said, it took 3 years out of the 10 it actually took. And I think on Ontario one, now I'm remembering, I went to a meeting, maybe it was in 2019, I think, with TxDOT and Adriana Rodarte, and there was a bunch of us, and it was like the very, very first meeting, so it was like, I guess it has been 5-6 years.
Yeah, it's been
It
a
was
long
before
time.
COVID,
Well, I took a ride out there yesterday because I wasn't familiar with the area, so I took only because you see all this Facebook stuff, right? And so, yeah, his friends call and say, hey, what's going on? Of course, you know, they kind of blindsided me because I didn't know nothing about it. But I did take a ride out there, and there is a lot of vacant land, you know. I mean, I don't believe that the aerial's gonna take a straight cut straight up, okay? Because there are some really nice ranch homes out there. I mean, the roads are bad out there. It looks like they're putting in sewer lines out there too. It looks like in some of the area, there's a lot of road work, but the pavements out there on those houses, on those streets are terrible. You know, you don't have two ways to go. I did notice that there's a warehouse way up there at the very top of at the top of the edge, you know. And so you could see all that dirt where it just comes down on the homes that are almost butted up against there. So, I mean, you're right. I think that because Socorro has grown, you're gonna have to cut through some homes no matter where you put it. I thought about that one that we just had voted on, is that there doesn't seem to be any houses on that going up, you know. But then you're gonna have to stop on North Loop and find another avenue down Socorro Road to Alameda, from North Loop to Alameda. But that owner of that property, when he brought that up, I would think that that would have been a good area to go up to I-10 and make the 4-lane highway and maybe connect someplace else, you know.
So some of the items on the interstate are already set. So TxDOT long-range
Control
plan
and set.
for the interchange, if you look at some of the parcel maps, you'll see kind of these X cross marks in certain areas where TxDOT owns right-of-way for a future extension, a future road,
So
a
we can
future
see that
horizon.
on, okay,
And
if you click.
initially, some of the alignment, initially looked at that they started with in 2019, kind of did take that straight from that point at the interstate down
Down to
toward,
Okay.
and that one, you know, maybe back then it did make more sense, but we're
Yeah.
now in 2025,
Yep,
trying to make
a lot of stuff in the way now.
make good choices and trying to bring as many people into the conversation as we can.
Okay.
So do we have a layout of where it's gonna run through? On
Well,
a
you know
web
what,
page or no?
I can have staff share the newsletter, and I don't know if you can pull up the newsletter from our page, and if you zoom into this segment of the newsletter, this is the alignment that we're looking at currently. And before you leave, oh, I think I wrote a note on that, what did I write? A safe message. They can just, if you want to just get a close look, but we can share some with you before you leave.
Okay.
Our page?
No, it says Zoom este.
No se zoom. Oh, but we can't zoom in, huh, because they're not PDFs.
Yeah.
No.
How about the one
we-
that was up there before? That was a good one.
No, but it wasn't the right one. Those were like initial, earlier versions. Oh, here. It was part of that presentation, but it was telling the story of, if you go to the TxDOT page and go to go farther out. There you go, maybe, yeah,
Is it the bottom one?
that looks like the right one. So there we are on the freeway.
Where's, can you point out North Loop?
No.
Where's
Right there? And so
Yes.
it comes out on
Right off of
Alameda.
Anderson, it'll go through the
Yeah.
Pecan Orchard, cross through the train tracks of Pecan Valley.
Okay,
Yeah, it looks like the new
From,
development, right?
Right next
And
to
then-
Chilos, it curves in, right next to the warehouses on Chilos.
The new warehouses that are there,
Yeah.
the development down?
is it the warehouses or by the
To
wholesale
the-
lumber?
No, that's the warehouses
By the warehouses. Okay,
down the North Loop and then through the orchards. Across, the drain.
future Vista Bonita,
Mm-hmm,
phase 2,
right here.
a bridge over the railroad tracks.
And then
And then picks up over there,
this one's
south of those where are houses? There's Alameda.
That's Alameda, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then down,
And then curving up.
Is that Camino de la Rosa or is it,
Can you repeat the question?
right here. It goes into Socorro.
yeah, it is, I think it's Camino de la Rosa, the one up at the top. And she might, be right, where it also
No,
No?
What's your question?
that's Camino de la Rosa.
No.
No, Camino de la Rosa is San Nelly. So everything's inside of Socorro's jurisdiction.
No, actually, that's not true. Some of it extends in the county, but through this
oh,
left, top,
that's the
left-hand
Franklin
side,
drain.
it curves at the lateral up into a vacant area,
Mhm.
and then in between the backs of the homes on Friolin and the backs of the homes on Flor Preciosa, and then down Sylvia Court to get to Socorro.
And so when is this supposed to be, like 2028, you said, 2029?
The timeline,
So it is
yes,
by Chiefs,
2028, 2023 construction.
Yeah.
Okay, that's clear.
And so
I'm
we've,
kinda confused, like,
and so we've taken into account that all that traffic
Future traffic,
is
right?
gonna hit Socorro Road, and it's a one lane going and coming?
But it's going to go out onto the freeway.
The new freeway, the new Loop
The-
75, right?
No,
One that they're trying to
No.
do.
Well, a lot of the traffic from Socorro Road will head up to I-10, that's.
Yeah.
Right,
So
right.
some of that traffic that would go through Socorro, on Socorro Road will divert right and go up toward the freeway.
Right. So it should slow down.
Mind you, will get to the interstate and have to go down and around to get, if they're going
Right,
east.
right.
But if
But
they're
if
going
you're
west,
going,
they can,
right, but if you're coming down the aerial and you're going down to Socorro Road, all the traffic from I-10 is not gonna hit and buckle up at Socorro Road. If you're gonna go either right or left on Socorro Road,
to Socorro Road.
right? Because you
Or-
only have a one lane going and coming. So are there future plans to extend that road?
Socorro Road,
Yeah,
I don't see that, because
It's a
of the
historic-
historic nature of the corridor,
Right here.
the Mission Trail.
It's gonna come out right here. This vacant lot.
There are no plans to expand Socorro Road. There
They don't have the
definitely
room
is
for
a
that
right of
there.
way for sidewalks.
Yeah, they
right
would have
now.
to tear down a lot of the historical
Yeah.
landmarks.
Yeah, that would not be good for the city.
Yeah, it looks like
Eh.
this, it follows this, right, ma'am? It follows this road,
Mm-hmm.
comes up into this vacant lot, right?
No, not the vacant lot, the
Down
street.
here?
Sylvia?
Oh, the street,
There you
Sylvia?
go.
Okay, so Sylvia. And then curls down near the park and follows this road
Scope.
towards, yeah.
Not Scove, just south of Scove.
Yeah,
Because
just south.
Scove, only a section of it is right of way. And it also has the lateral, the El Paso County Water Improvement District property.
See, yeah.
Oh, if there aren't any other questions, I can talk
I-
about the other item.
I
Did
did
you have any other
yeah, I did
questions?
have a question. So how many, I know they considered Bauman for a while, and then this one, arterial one, is this one that we're looking at right now. What other options were there? Or was it just two options?
It was three initially. The first two are alternative 1 and 2, started at the same point on I-10, made it through to North Loop, and then right there diverged. And then the third was a southern route that was straight across, more or less, from that point on the interstate to Socorro Road. And then after revisiting this, after that, I want to say that was April meeting, there were about 3 other alternatives looked at for that southern portion, eliminated that initial second option. So I think that was about variations of the 3 options, but
And so now they're looking at, this is called arterial 1.
this is still arterial 1.
This is arterial 1. And so the lead is Socorro in partnership.
In
or
managing,
conjunction with-
in managing
with the-
over, mhm.
With TxDOT, right? And there's a consulting company involved, or is it TxDOT that's the consult, running all
No.
the consulting?
So it's, the city is the lead. We went through the process of bidding for our engineers and who would be the engineering lead on our project. So they have also under them a team of people who are assisting with the outreach and gathering all of the data, putting together the documents. So that is CEA Engineering is the firm that oversees along with us this project, or at the leading, right? Because the city of the Socorro is the lead agency, and then just coordinating with our partners, right? There's some aspects that need to be coordinated through the El Paso Metropolitan Court Organization, because they allocate funding in the region as the transportation planning agency. And then there's TxDOT, because the money gets funneled through TxDOT from the federal government, from FHWA, from TxDOT funds that the Texas Transportation Agency has for projects like these, and together making this work.
So like 3 or 4 different, there's TxDOT, City of Socorro, consulting firm, engineer, this last one you mentioned. And so who ultimately makes the decision and says, we're going here, not here?
The process. So the
Process.
NEPA process is what we have to follow in order to make our determination. It's not a vote of any one body or person, no decision by any one person. It's this whole process of gathering this information, meeting with the public, taking that into consideration, looking at all of the environmental, cultural impacts, and the costs are not as big as other items on the array of what we have to use to evaluate what is the best route, the least impactful route. But that process is what we use to determine the route.
So what was the name of the process?
The NEPA process, and it stands for,
Is this process used statewide, nationwide?
yeah, no, it's federal. National Environmental Policy Act. It's a framework for federal agencies to analyze and disclose the potential environmental impacts of their proposed actions. So that's not just for transportation projects, it's for other projects that use federal funding.
Okay.
And environmental is not just the human, natural environment, it's also us and our built environment.
And all that too, what Mr. Estrada is saying in regards to who makes the decision, I think it's important to know who makes the decision so that residents understand why it's important for their opinion to be submitted, so that if this route can change depending on who it's gonna affect, it can get noted, right? So we can, I guess, at least tell them, hey, it's not a decision that the city's making, or they're following this by the way they're doing it, or make sure your voice is heard, because there is an opportunity for the route to get changed, or et cetera, you know, for those that are actually getting affected directly.
Yeah, that we
I don't know if there is or isn't an option.
take
for
all
route
of the
to change.
information that's available
Yeah.
to make
The
an
more the
informed
merrier, I would say, right? The more
process.
the merrier from here till June 13th?
Friday, June 13th.
And it's just, not just residents off of Anderson, right? It's literally everybody.
I mean, there too, it can be directly impacted because you're right there on Anderson, on Sylvia Court, it's behind the area where it's
Where the
not
warehouse
developed.
is.
There's the agricultural land. It's not just those people, those might be directly impacted, but the adjacent or nearby might be indirectly impacted, and their opinion is also important.
Thank you.
Okay.
That was
Thank
it.
you.
We understood it a little bit more. Thank you for all
You're welcome. And please, if you have any questions or would like to direct anyone to our office, please do. The second item I wanted to bring your attention to was that our transit development plan is complete, and we will be presenting that, along with our consultant, we'll be presenting that to City Council on Thursday. Along with that item and the recommendations are a resolution, if the City Council chooses to adopt the plan and move forward with its recommendations, that the City of Socorro implement its own microtransit project system, that we move forward with a resolution to begin the process of becoming direct recipients, meaning that we would be able to get funding from the Federal Transit Administration, again through TxDOT, and that cooperation with the MPO to help fund our transit system, and an agreement with Sun Metro to be able to take our transit riders to the Nestor Valencia transit station right there on Alameda and Zaragoza. So this is all being presented to City Council on Thursday. This is a wonderful opportunity for Socorro to listen in to see what the results of the survey were, the results of that public outreach, and it would be a great enhancement to the City of Socorro to be able to have our own transit system. And the information is available online in the meeting packet with the backup. If anybody can't attend the meeting and would like to see that and provide some input, that would be wonderful. Thank you. I think that would be it for me.
Item number 14, consider and take action in the adjournment of this meeting. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
I have a motion made by Andrew Arroyo, second by Osvaldo Reza to adjourn. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. Meeting adjourned at 6:53 PM. Thank you very much.